Having skated for more than 8 years has led me to having to try something new over and over and over again. Once you get consistent at that new thing, it becomes a trick that you can do, and you're bound to move on to the next trick. This is also known as progression. Some may like it, some may not, some progress all the time, and some don't make any progression at all. I personally love making progression. Definitely not saying that I make loads of progression all the time though, especially not in the winter. But I am definitely very interested in the process of learning something. For me, of course, that is applied to skateboarding, but you can apply it to lots of things. I started taking this channel serious when I started out making tutorials. It was super dope to be able to teach you guys the basics of skating, and I still get comments today from people using these tutorials. Best tutorials on the planet. Too bad there wasn't someone involved who happened to be a professional skateboarder from the San Francisco Bay Area. No one commented that, but that would have been funny. The other day I got a comment from this guy telling me that me saying making progression is fun wasn't true. It's actually painful, especially if you get hurt. And this comment stuck around with me because I always thought of making progression as fun. As I told you guys, I'm very interested in the process of learning something. I've always looked at it as something fascinating and thus fun. But then I started thinking about the times that I have made progression, and to be honest, the guy's right. It hasn't always been fun. But that's okay. If the entire process of learning something would have been fun, we would have had a lot more people being good at a lot more things. Learning is the process of acquiring new or modifying existing knowledge, behaviors, skills, values, or preferences. The ability to learn is possessed by humans, animals, and some machines, and there's also evidence for some kind of learning in some plants. Some learning is immediate, induced by a single event. But much skill and knowledge accumulates from repeated experiences. And that's where I want to go in. Repeated experiences. In skateboarding, this is known as practicing or trying a trick. And yes, this might not always be fun. You will not succeed at landing this trick a lot. And some might see it as failing, but it really is just trying a trick, practicing a trick. And what makes it hard is that there is no immediate progression. There's no direct dopamine released into the brain, not like you get from taking your smartphone out of your pocket, It requires some determination and willpower. For skateboarding, there's even an extra factor that makes it so hard, and that is getting hurt. Pain. It leads to being scared, and that's why so many people give up on skateboarding or give up on learning a certain trick. That's alright, but if you do so, you gotta be honest with yourself. You're not gonna get that trick. It's really a matter of how bad do you want it. Are you willing to go through all of these things just to be able to do this weird movement on a piece of wood? I mean, you only got so much time in your life, so it is quite a commitment. But it is definitely a bit more complicated than just wanting to learn a trick badly. Now, first of all, there's this thing called the backwards law, introduced by philosopher Alan Watts and popularized by writer Mark Manson. This law basically means that the desire for a more positive experience is itself a negative experience, and paradoxically, the acceptance of one's negative experience is in itself a positive experience. It takes a little bit to understand this. At first it seems quite contradictory, but it's actually quite true. The pursuit of something only reinforces the fact that you lack it in the first place. Focus on wanting to be rich, famous, successful, and you'll feel bitter at your current poor, unknown, and mediocre state. The more you wish to be happy and loved, the lonelier you'll feel. So, does that mean you should give up on trying that trick? No, definitely not. From personal experience, I can tell you that these strong feelings of wanting to learn that trick are a huge motivation. But whenever you feel down because you're not making as much progression as you wish you would, think about that law and just continue trying without feeling shitty about it. The backwards law tells you, instead of focusing on the end goal, focus on the journey. Accept the discomfort, pain, sweat and tears necessary towards such success, and you'd experience a lot more improvements than if you had focused on the end reward at the end. Trying to escape from the struggle is itself a form of struggle. To try avoid pain is to care too much about it, making it a negative experience. However, if you are able to accept the pain, that is when you are able to advance forward. So yeah, that's some motivation for y'all today. Follow your boy at Brewtown, and in the end it's all just about skateboarding, so peace out and skate on.